Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As always, I'm your host, Mike. Hello, welcome back. Hope you're having a great time. Join me as we dive back into the fully optimized and super strong two-handed blade dancer. Oh, it's awful, but I love it, so we're playing it. Good evening, Steve Gooch. How you doing? Oh, we're feeling good. I'm having a great day. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you with us. As always, we stream for charity. Right above me. Here we go. And, yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to answer them. Please feel free to ask them, and I'll answer them. Remember to put at Last Epoch Game in the question, please. So I see it pop out a little bit better. I can remember how we played this. Mike Walker, wow. Our names are very similar. Hello, hello. Any performance improvements at 1.0? There's performance improvements every patch. Yeah, I feel like if we go back and look at every single patch, there's a clear pattern of performance priorities going on, and that has not stopped at all. It's number one on the list. Always has been. All right, let's get to some stuff. I remember my buttons now. Oh. Do I remember them though? Will there be autocast? We don't really plan on putting full-on autocast in the game at the moment. There are some nodes which will do that in certain situations for certain skills. Like for example, I think Holy Aura has it. I think Enchant Weapon has it. Those are the only two that. There's got to be others. Maelstrom has some. Yep. Static, I think, has some. It's not completely like out of the possibility or whatever, but like we don't have. There's no task in the back end right now that's like implement this. It's kind of all I can really go off of. What else do we got? Are you planning to add some Steam achievements at any point in the future? Oh yeah. I'm not sure if we'll use Steam achievements or in-game achievements. I think we'll use Steam achievements. It's one of those systems that's like already there and fantastic, and so integrated already that I don't see why we wouldn't use the Steam achievements. But you know, there's you go to implement something like that, and there's like 20% chance that some monkey wrench shows up, and you're like, well, pivot. What is this ZDVS build? Come on. Yeah. Ooh, nice. That's some of those bad boys. So far I love the game. Awesome. I feel it's near perfect. Wonderful. Balance of PoE and Diablo 4. Sounds great. Here comes the rub. Oh, just kidding. My only suggestion / request is, would you guys be open to changing the way that you transition through zones? So many times I've now accidentally ran over to an exit of a zone in order to dodge a boss. Etc. Yeah. So this is asking when you go to a scene transition, those like glowy things, and you're just holding your cursor down. Like I'm just holding my mouse cursor. I'm not clicking individually, and the mouse cursor goes over top of that scene transition glow. If you're close enough, it will click on the scene transition and take you through. And happens when you don't want it to happen sometimes, which is unfortunate. I don't know if there's an easy fix for this. I have a feeling. I can't. So this has come up quite a few times, and I can't remember the exact reason why it's not in the why it hasn't been changed, because I know this is feedback we've gotten a few times. I think, could be wrong on this. I think there was a problem with it, and when we couldn't change it at the time, or it wasn't easy to do or something like that. We're like, okay, well we'll do it, but like back burner type thing. I can't remember why it's not changed, but something like that happened. I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, if you want to get a suggestion considered, please put it on the forums. Or the Discord. In the appropriate place. I'm just terrible at writing things down, so I will, at least while I'm playing on stream. So pretend I'm like a 3-year-old. And you're saying it, it's like, I'm like, yeah, I hear you, I'll repeat it right back to you. And then, like, I turn around and it's gone. And I hit Jack anyways. You're like, we just told you not to hit Jack. And I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't hit Jack. Whack! I promise Jack is not a kid from my son's daycare. It's actually not making all that up, but it feels like that sometimes. Alright, the roadmap for new classes and factions is out. Yes, what can players expect from it? Is it reveal only, put on Last Epoch tools? What are we going to get with the roadmap? You mean like the... Okay, so I think what we're talking about is the... I'm just gonna bring this up, because you know what? I see so much confusion about this. I'm not 100% sure why. So I'm just gonna grab the image, and we're gonna talk about it, because that's awesome. There we go. How fast can I put something into this properly? Pretty quick, apparently. Awesome. No, we're gonna center that. Okay, this is the image in question. So it's over here. No, it's over here. So what we're seeing on these are each going to be a really big devlog post with specific details on what's coming with all of these 3 major features. So there's no patch to the game happening on these days. January 11th will not come with a patch. January 25th will not come with a patch. February 8th will not come with a patch. Be super clear on this. Actually, I should say it's my face in frame. The item factions post here, the Warlock preview and the Falconer preview will have the same sort of details. Like go look on our forums for the Rune Master reveal devlog. It'll be very similar to that. It'll have like it's not written yet, so I don't know exactly what's going to be there, but it'll have things like what skills are coming, probably some like maybe there's like a unique item that's specifically designed for Warlock to come with it. There'll probably be skill tree previews. There might not be full like 100% completed. Here's the skill tree exactly how it's going to be, but at least maybe some of them will be. But like there'll be lots of very detailed information on the like how the class is going to function. Were you asking specifically about classes and trade factions? Yeah, it's a very in-depth look at these features coming for the patch, because they are big features. There's lots going on. There's lots of things to share and show how it's going to work and all these sorts of things. But yeah, it's not a chance for you to play it yet. That chance will be February 21st with launch. Just want to be super duper clear on that. Cool. Hope that helped. If you're looking for more information, let me know, please. will these servers be more stable because I can't play with anyone outside of AU server? Yeah, I mean, this is back to performance stuff. It's #1 priority, performance. So they're hopefully getting better all the time. There's a whole new networking information transfer system that's getting implemented that we've been using internally for about a week now. It's going great. Whew. Okay. And this is why two-handed rogues are bad. Is it though? Come on, you're getting your butt kicked. Let's get a question here. We can do both, right? Let's the game just tuning in. Can you touch on guild clans? Will there be incentives to join one? We don't have any sort of guild system planned to come with 1.0 at the moment. So there's no incentive to join one because they don't exist. We are... if we do add them to the game, which I expect we will eventually, we want there to be a reason to do it. We currently feel that if we added guilds and a clan system sort of the way it is now, we'd probably end up with a glorified group chat. You know, like okay, great, there's this chat channel you guys share. You know, like if you're got a group of people that you want to play together and that sort of thing, like you've likely already got an alternate method of communication that you're using. And with no activities or mechanical reasons in game to have this clan, there's kind of like no reason to do it. Oh my goodness, my mustache is so itchy right now. I do not know why. I think I took way too long to kill. Oh, Mr. Fibble has resubbed 9 months in a row. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. It's cool. I really like your name as well. Just throwing that out there. I have a tough time parsing names frequently, but I don't fumble yours. It's fun. All right. More questions. Are further bug fixes patches planned for 1.0? Yes. I think the cutoff content for one, I think I got given a notice today being like, if you don't get it in today, it's not going in the next patch type thing. And I'm like, cool, I don't have anything pending. So that's still got to go through QA and, you know, approval and all that sort of stuff. So who knows when that'll actually happen. But yeah, there are still bug fix patches that we're looking at for between now and 1.0. Don't forget to put at Last Epoch game in the question, please, so I see it and know that this is something you want me to answer. But here's one that's not. It's okay. A lot of games require you to go through the campaign for every character. Are there any thoughts of allowing one to start at post-campaign for new characters? Still start level 1. Yeah, this question comes up every single stream and every single day on Reddit and our Discord and our forums. Absolutely, this has been talked to death for sure all the time. Like, really, really, really short answer? No. Longer answer, I mean, it's kind of already there, so yes. If you're playing online, at least, you can party with someone and they can just take you to any zone by just going there themselves, and you just portal to them. If you complete the level 90, the 3 level 90 monolith timelines, even as a follower, You'll unlock Empowered, and you can be an Empowered Monolith at level 10 if you want. You'll get your ass handed to you, and you won't actually level that fast because there are there's experience gain dampening, might be a good word for it, for being severely underleveled in the same zone as a severely overleveled person compared to you. So it's a little complicated, but basically, if you're underleveled for the zone on your own and you're actually doing the content yourself, it's less of a penalty than if you're underleveled in the zone with someone else carrying you. Yeah, and then there's also something else. A lot of people might, when this comes up, usually another thing that is unknown is the fact that the dungeons will skip big chunks of the campaign as well. Yeah, so we're still toying with exactly how all that's going to shake out and everything. The first time dungeons need to be done better for sure. Whether that's like easier and no like primary reward, or just straight up easier, or like something. The first time through the dungeon is a little on the unhelpful side right now. Like, it's there and it's a great idea, but it's just not quite to the point where it's really useful. And recently I've been feeling that it should probably actually allow you to go into them. I think the first tier should... This is a suggestion I heard recently that I quite liked. Was that... I just want to make it sound like I came up with this, because I didn't. Which was that there's just the original... The first floor has no key requirement. So you can even go through on your first character. But would still be too hard for most situations. So it's like an advanced player option. And you just make it really obvious to noobs that it's... Noobs meaning, like, literal just new players. That it's probably not a great first-time experience. Which is tough to convey. It really is. But not impossible. Isn't faction a guild? So this is where naming things come into problem. So there are two item factions. One of the item factions is called the Merchants Guild. The other item faction is called Circle of Fortune. Factions is the term we're giving to any sort of like group you can join that has a reputation rank that you can increase and generate favor for some sort of interaction in that faction. And the first two factions are mutually exclusive with each other because they are both item factions. It's possible we could add a third item faction down the road. It's possible or probable that we would add new types of factions. So maybe we add I don't know, a exploration factions, and there's two different ways to explore things. It's like a sky exploration faction, a sea exploration faction. I don't know. And you have to pick one of those. And there's a ground one too. And there's 3 factions in this group. I'm literally making this up on the spot. I have no idea. My point is that they'd be mutually exclusive within their set of factions, but not mutually exclusive across sets. So you could be in the sky exploration faction and the Merchants Guild at the same time, and it would be fine. So that's the overarching plan, long-term plans for our factions system. Not to be confused with possibly including guilds in the future. I don't know why I couldn't see that guy. I just could not see him. Good one in there. We don't really care about the explosion. Damage reflect is nice. We care more about the buffs. Fear's good in general, but we don't actually want them to run away. I think you just want to take damage reflected. Get the extra charges up eventually. We would need some sort of plus skills for the extra charge with this, or take a point out somewhere else. but that's fine. Get some of that XP. Oh, we've got boss stability. We do have boss stability. Alright, will there be more optimization and DLSS/FSR implementation for release? Yes/no, or yes and no. So more optimization, yes. DLSS and FSR implementation, no for release. I love to play Last Epoch at 4K 120 FPS, but it burns temp-wise the ever-living SHIT out of my 3080. Yeah, the current version of the engine we're running does not have DLSS and FSR. Yeah, I said that right. Functionality. So we have no option to do it, even if we wanted to at the moment. When we eventually, like at some point, I'm sure we'll do an engine upgrade. Who knows when? When we eventually get around to that, it's something that we would look at then. But for now, no. That's right, you're stunned. The bear, not you guys. Well, you might be too. I don't know. I didn't realize you could do that with multiplayer. Thanks to the information. You're welcome. I don't know what that was about. I'm sorry. Oh, it's probably the like, the hopping into advanced parts of the game. Yeah. Summon several ice beetles. Woohoo! Ice beetle boy army. Beetle boys, roll out. That was great. Can't laugh at yourself. Alright. Will cross-server partying be possible, or will we have to be on the same server to group up? So, I'm going to answer this question exactly how it's written, and then try and guess what it's actually trying to ask, and answer that as well. So, will cross-server partying be possible, or will we have to all be on the same server to group up? You can join a party with people on any server. As soon as you want to be physically in the same location in game, like if you want to be able to stand beside each other in game and see each other, you have to be on the same server by definition. Like it's just every zone is a server, and so if you're in a zone together, you're on the same server. Period. No matter what. If you're asking like, can I, as someone who logs into the game under US West and someone else who logs into the game under EU West, can they join together in a party and go play together? Absolutely. You'll have to, the game will pick for you, I think it goes based on party leader's preferred server location, or maybe tries to meet in the middle. I can't remember which one we chose. It tries to optimize the server you're connected to so everyone has the best experience possible. And it will put you on a single region together, and will maintain that region while you're together in that party. Basically, when you join a party, when you create a party, whenever the party members change, it recalculates the preferred server region for that party. So if you have a party with 4 people in it, that party has a preferred server region. And as long as you're in that party, you'll keep using that preferred server region. I hope that answered all your questions. I'm not exactly sure which one you're looking for. If not, please ask it and I'll be happy to answer it. Next question. Okay, Ned, some answers related to it just underneath. I hope we got you together. Great job on the game overall, thank you. Loving the ability to add my own loot filters. Yes, very nice. Any chance we get to change some of the audio cues for dropped items? Any chance? Yes. Any chance at 1.0? No. There will not be something added to 1.0. It is one of those things that's pretty hotly requested. So I'd be surprised if. So okay, how do I phrase this? The problem that audio cues are generally listed as attempting to solve is something we would like to solve. It's possible that we may choose to solve that through adding optional audio cues to the loot filter. It's possible that we may attempt to solve it some other way too. I don't know. The most frequent reason that I see cited for this suggestion as the problem it's trying to solve, and this is why, like, giving us problems to solve is way more valuable to us than giving us solutions to problems that you're having. And the problem that we think people are trying to solve with this suggestion, nailed it, is to notify the player when an item drops behind you. So you're running along through the zone, killing dudes. Maybe there's like one little dude behind the pack that like had an ignite dot on him, and you're like, oh whatever, I'm just gonna keep running. No point in stopping for him. The ignite kills him. He drops some epic piece of loot, but you're already going. You're not going back to check. You don't know what he's dropped. But having some sort of way that the game tells you, hey, there's something that you want back here, is important, and that's something that we do need to resolve somehow. Audio cues are one way to do that. They're not the only way to do that, and we'll see how we tackle that problem. I don't know the answer to it. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for the resub 4 months in a row from Infractus1. Very cool name too. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. I hope I am making just enough of a fool of myself for you to have fun, but still learn something. It's the sweet spot, right? Sounds almost Ferengi. Die, human. Oh wait, hopefully that's not a literal reference that I just never got. Oh, you're doing this to me. Okay, all right. Oh, psychosis patient. I got it. I got that. I'm like, psychosipient. That's definitely how that's pronounced. Oh, you'd think I haven't spoken English my entire life or something. Thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it. Good to know the final release date. I always say September, February 21st. I swear I know how to speak as well. February 21st. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. Mike, please remember to tag Mike. Cool. Someone asked a question that didn't tag me. Let me see if I can find it. Thanks, Kane. Looking for... will you be able to add more Twink-style uniques to make leveling alts quicker and more fun? Like no level requirement or uniques that grant a nice power boost at low level. We do, so one of the main reasons the legendary item system is set up the way it is so that we can have meaningful low-level uniques in the game that still have uses in the late game. It's not perfect. Not every item is good for this, but it's one of... Oh, that's actually nice. That is one of the goals of the system. Definitely not the only one, but it's one thing that helps with it. Now, last patch, we made it so that making an item legendary, making a unique legendary, doesn't change that item's level requirement anymore. So it's really easy to make quite powerful twink leveling items now. Like, really easy. Kind of doesn't even matter what the unique is. You can make it into an awesome twink leveling item. As long as it's a low level, like it goes in the right slot. Great, it can be a twink leveling unique type thing. Pretty well, not quite, but pretty well. So having said that, we do generally add items that are all sorts of level requirements. We don't tend to focus as much on 0 level requirement items anymore. But you know, I'd be surprised if there weren't a few in the 10 to 40 range. Because we can still make in-game relevant items as low-level uniques. Oh, come off at you. I need to buff. I need better single target DPS. I'm not 100% sure the best way to do that right now. With sticking with the two-hander. All right. Were there any discussions about February 29th release? Do I keep saying February 20th? Oh, because it's a leap year. I have no idea. I wasn't in those conversations. I'd be surprised if there was. Like, it's neat. It's kind of cool. Like, oh, when the game launched February 29th. Oh, yeah, like, oh, it's 4 years later. We're having the first anniversary of the game. You know, like there's some cool stuff there and all that. But you know, it's I don't think that would be like the priority of like where you rank all the factors on picking a launch date. The meme factor is in the basement. You know, it's sweet, but it's sweet if it lines up, I think. And bigger titles and bigger projects can put a little bit more effort into something like that. Like, Diablo does like June 6th, 2026 or something. I don't know. 2006. Did they do that and I just like don't know or something? That would have been sweet. Yeah. Aaron, welcome. Okay, you can start. I made it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Is there any builds like Bear, Druid, or other playstyles that transform your appearance? If there's not, is there any chance to come in the future? Yes, there are. Druid, one of the Primalist masteries, the primary gameplay mechanic and thematic system is shapeshifting, transforms. There are 3 options. You can transform into a werebear. You can transform into a Spriggan, which is like a magical, like dryad type creature, and a Swarmblade, which, it's definitely not Scyther. People call it bug form. It's a giant insect. You can summon locust swarms and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, and then there's also the Acolyte, the undead caster character, has a mastery Lich, whose mastery ability is Reaper Form, and Reaper Form is a little bit different than the Druid transformations. Reaper Form only replaces one of the skills on your bar, whereas the Druid transformations actually replace your entire bar and give you a new resource. Reaper Form gives you 1 new skill in your bar, replaces Reaper Form on your bar with Reap, which is a melee short distance dash ability. Does damage, short dash. And then those are all the transforms right now. Oh yeah, Reaper Form also gives you your health starts to decay over time, and that decay rate speeds up over time as well. So eventually you will die from it. However, when you die in Reaper Form, you go back into your normal form. So you get like a whole extra health bar, which is great. Yeah. And I'm like, there's room to add more in the future, but like those are the 4 key transforms you'll see initially. All right. Oh no, Mike's playing his rogue. I like playing my rogue. Ah. Let's be real. Does anyone actually care about the build I'm playing? I feel like this is more just to keep me occupied while I answer questions. And if people haven't seen the game before, to let them see what a noob looks like when they're playing. Okay, this is gonna take a bit. These guys, there's so much health. The health was so big for this. I'm gonna just smack of the pool noodle the whole time. How is/was the theory crafting around the Warlock? Did you guys have a clear idea of what you wanted to build, or was there a lot of discussion around it? There was a massive discussion around it. Oh, I thought it was a boss fight that started there. Oh my god, I'm thinking of the campaign. Not the actual quest echo. Let's keep going. I know which way it is. See the big claw on the map? Oh, I guess you don't. Warlock, clear ideas. Yeah. So we had about 3 years ago, we had a some design feels about the Warlock and what it was going to do. And we had some with the meetings, some directions we were going to go, certain things that we intentionally kept out of. A few things that we intentionally kept out of Lich and Necromancer to make room for it. There was stuff done with it that was sort of preliminary work, but preliminary design work. When we went to actually make the Warlock, we realized that we had a lot of new tools, we had a lot of new ideas, there were new items, there were new metas that had formed, there was all sorts of new stuff since then, and we decided to kind of redesign it from scratch. We had many rounds of design meetings that started from the point of let's decide what style of stuff we even want the Warlock to be able to do. And then went to we had after we'd sort of landed on some keywords that you're gonna see if we're gonna keyword out I don't know, let's keyword out the druid, right? It's gonna be something like shapeshifting, possibly hybrid builds, nature connection, all these things like minor minion synergy, things like this. And so we did that for Warlock, and then everyone on the design team went away and just made their own design for a Warlock. Everyone picked skills, a couple key passives maybe. It was sort of however much in depth you wanted to go. And then people presented those to the group. We talked about them, discussed the things we liked about each one, picked out specific things we liked about each one, discussed details of more of some pitches that were cohesive of ideas from various people, that sort of thing. Went away, came back, discussed it more. Eventually got down to the point where we were happy with the overarching design. We had about 2 or 3 skills locked in. Went through, started implementing those skills, got test versions of those skills out. Thanks, Sam, great job. Decided a couple of them weren't really hitting the themes we wanted to hit. We scrapped the mastery skill completely at that point, actually. Replaced it. Moved a skill from one of the other classes. I don't know what question I'm answering here. It was a pretty long process. Then we go through and develop design meetings for each individual skill and the trees they're going to have. That's like 3 meetings per skill. Yeah, then they're in implementation. Warlock's basically done of like the main stuff. Like, it's got tons of bugs that gotta get fixed. But the main feel for Warlock is in, and we're getting early feedback from people on it. Try and design some more specific. Do not stand in that, Mike. My goodness, what are you thinking? And we are. Let's just not. Yeah, so we're in early feedback phase for Warlock, and we'll be we're definitely past the point of like, hey, maybe we should like scrap this skill and design a new skill. Like, that's not having the skills that it has now, or the skills it's gonna launch with. But like, nodes can get changed and added and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot more than just the skill trees that goes into it too. So like, there's idols and affixes and uniques, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into a class design, passives as well, all sorts of stuff. Okay, next, one of these. Oh my goodness. Maybe in the future you can transfer into a falcon. The falcon is a minion skill. Just to be clear. Oh, bad timing, Mike. Back to the center. All right, let's get fighting again. Can I get more questions? I'm trying to get in a position where I can like look over and get a question. Personally, I hate leaving legendaries on the ground. Any chance for crafting mod where I can destroy one legendary for % chance to get 1, 2, 3 LP on an identical one or something? So I always want to pick them up. So this is a fantastic example of what I was talking about earlier about presenting a solution along with the problem, which is totally fine to do. It's just the solution you've suggested is no, is the answer to that suggestion. However, it is a problem that I agree needs addressing. So the problem is unique items are there's a fair bit of fanfare around a unique item dropping, and when you don't actively need for anything, it's disappointing. And there's no incentive to pick up unique, like the bar to pick up a unique item ends up becoming fairly high to the point where it feels like you're leaving behind more unique items than you're picking up, which doesn't feel great. And so the suggested solution here is create an additive LP chance system for unique items. And if we're going to do that without dramatically affecting the relative LP chance of unique items relative to each other, so the LPL that items have, it's a hidden stat. It's the chance that an item will have legendary potential, or the legendary potential level of the item. If we're not going to adjust, if we're not going to dramatically affect that balance of the system like this, and just say we're going to do that and put it in, okay, great. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like the chances of a very high, like you'd putting a 0 LPL item into this crafting system maybe would have like a 1 in 10 chance of adding 1 LP, and maybe like a 1 in 40 chance of adding 2 LP. I don't know what the numbers are, but you know what I mean. Like, and it starts to get kind of ridiculous, where you're like, there's a 1 in 500 chance of getting 4 LP or something, and then you go to like the high LPL items, and it's like, well, there's a 1 in 1,000 chance you'll get 1 LP. Great. And it just doesn't work great, you know. So there needs to be something. Oh my goodness. My HP is tiny. This HP pool is mini, and these items are terrible. Oh my god. This is why I'm struggling. What is that? What is that? Oh, I don't want to go through and fix this character right now. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I'm just gonna go to a different timeline. I think I struggled here recently. My goodness. Okay. Probably not ready for this. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, Mike, where's our leak? You died. Well, I've been leaking this whole time. That sounded terrible. In the top right corner of the screen, you may notice the minimap hasn't been changing as I've been playing. Gats, what's this? This is a little look at the minimap changes and quest display changes coming for the HUD next patch. But yes, so just to get back to the unique item pickup problem. So having some sort of system to, like, reason to pick up some uniques in certain situations, but not. And so, like, the extreme flip side to that problem is that if you add a system where every unique has a chance to add LP to that same unique, the only ones you're trying to pick up are the ones for uniques that you actually want LP on. But then you get to the point where if you're in Merchant's Guild, someone's going to want it, and suddenly, if you're in Merchant's Guild, you're picking up every single unique item you ever find. And that's just too much. So there needs to be some sort of limiting factor to it. And the chances are so low for so many items that it just doesn't work great. So we need to find a way to incentivize picking up more, but not all, unique items with some alternate system. I don't know what that is. But it's probably not chance to add LP to an item. Very long-winded way of saying sorry, nuh-uh. Maybe in the future you can transform into a... I already read that, didn't I? I'm so far behind. Hi, Spike! Hello. Scrolling. Keep that chat scrolling. I only pay attention when you play Void Knight or Paladin. Oh, I haven't played Void Knight or Paladin in forever. I should really do that. Should I haven't leveled in a while. I could start fresh. How do I It's not much of a Twitch chat noob I am. How does one create a poll / poll doesn't work? Well, just let me know if you want me to. I'll start loving a fresh character if you want. Someone say yes or no. Will Sork see some love? 1.0 Passive Tree and Frozen Orb skill tree rework? Maybe. There are much more pressing matters at the moment. Hello. I was trying to do a Forge Master with a shield thrown and picked up Iron Reflex's passive node that converts dodge to armor, but it seems like it's not working. Is it a mechanical bug, visual bug, or anything like that? It is working. It is working perfectly. Because it is a just-in-time calculated stat, It does not appear on your character sheet, but it is working, I promise. Is there any loadout in the game or in the future where you can save a favorite build and easily just switch between them in the future? I'm going to use Diablo 3 wardrobe armory. Diablo 3 armory? Sounds wrong. There's a system in Diablo 3 right by your stash. There's a little wardrobe. You go talk to it, and you just like pick this build, and it just like changes all your gear from your stash if you still got it. It just redoes your entire character like that. We're not doing that. Hard, super not doing that. The respec costs associated with skills, and then the different respec costs associated with passives, really don't play nice to do that. I would really like to see a way to like save build plans in game, like a way to say like mark certain nodes as like, okay, well, this one you'd plan to put 3 in, this one you'd plan to put 1 in, and you know, so you could see what your plan was. I think that would be really great. We don't have anything like that planned right now, but that's about as far as a system like that would go, likely, at least initially. It's gonna go so bad. Next question. Any chance of allowing us to change things on Sharks? Like female druid? Oh, character customization system. 1.0, hard no, definitely not. It is something that we do want to add to the game. Character customization is a feature that people are extremely polarized about. They either desperately, absolutely need to have it in order to have fun in the game, or they couldn't care less about it. The two answers, and I was not entirely sure there's other people, but like almost every time this question comes up in like a forum post or a Reddit thread or something like that, it'll be just like someone who refuses to play the game without it, and other people being like, but why? And other people being like, because I never play games that don't have it, and everyone else being like, but why? And so it's just like this huge, really polarizing options usually, and there's no right answer to it. Like which one's better or anything like that. There's no right answer there. It's a way bigger feature than most people think it is, and we do not have the bandwidth to add it at 1.0. We're not going to try. It's not happening. It is something that we do intend to do at some point in the future. I do not know when, so you know there are no timeline information available whatsoever on it. It's an eventually someday feature, but you know it's eventually someday going to come. Any chance of allowing us to change? Alright, answer that. Same thing. And the character customization thing goes well beyond just gender changes. There'll be like I don't know how in depth it'll be, but like body type will be one of the options, and various other features. You know, like it probably won't be as insanely detailed and awesome as like I don't know, what's a game with an epic? Baldur's Gate 3 had an epic character customizer. It probably won't be quite that intense. Because that was like... there's a big difference in the type of game as well. So like Baldur's Gate 3, you spend a lot of time in cutscenes with your character, like, this is zoomed out type thing in a cutscene in that game. Like, it's you spend a lot of time up close and personal, whereas in Epoch, most of the time you spend with, like... This is like the most visual availability of like a face in like any character helmet, you know, and still half it's covered. All right. Hey, what in-game activities are going to be added on release? Merchant's Guild and the Circle of Fortune. Yes, would be cool to see. Sorry, I don't know. Oh, yes, this is about me asking if I was going to uh, play new character. Yeah, sure. I don't see anyone disagreeing with you. So you've decided it. I'm going to start a new character right now, just for fun. Yeah, it's safe. Just sort of like, I wonder what that screen looks like right now. It's fine. There's like nothing there. Who's this going to be? Let's do Gideon. I am the Sentinel. No, I'm Sentinel. All right. Any planned reworks for 1.0 that you can share with us? I can tell you what we're currently working on. So we are currently working on some. What am I doing? We are currently working on updates to a couple little things in Shaman right now. Yeah. So what's one thing we're currently working on? Design meetings. We can check out this too. Here, I'll think it lines up as well on the screen, but. Oh look, something else is different. I wonder what it could be. Oh, very interesting. So as you can see with, I'll put them both up at the same time. We are updating our. So we just move these to the center so you can see them better. Oh, come on. We are updating our quest display and minimap panel for UI. So you'll be able to have a little bit more control over, you can see up here, these little pin icons. You'll have more control over which quests show up in this list here by being able to pin them specifically. And so it tries to give you just naturally appropriate quests for the chapter you're in or the zone you're in if you're in the zone with a quest. So it'll like automatically just give you nearby quests tracked. But you can also just be like forced to be like, no, don't show me that one. Show me this one instead. It will always keep main quests on there and always leave room for one side quest. It also doesn't show if multiple quests, if multiple conditions, multiple objectives, there we go, found it, are completed simultaneously for one quest. It only displays the last, the objectives for the farthest along step in that quest being completed. So you won't get these like ridiculous things when if you've ever been portaled to End of Time on a brand new character, you'll see this like giant list of like stuff shows up that's just like, oh my goodness, this is completely incomprehensible. So that doesn't happen anymore, and you know, little upgrades like that. So we're also working on making the minimap cleaner, clearer, being able to see things easier, especially for when you've got like lots of things in the minimap, just so you can see things easier, and the important stuff sticks out more. Yeah. Ding! Got the only skill we need for the rest of the game. I love this new area. It's so pretty. All right. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to the XP bar while playing. How big is the penalty when you die? 0. Is it possible to lose a level due to death? No. Thanks for the kind reply. You're welcome. I don't remember what reply it was, but I'm glad you liked it. guess I could go back up and see. I found another post thanking me. You're welcome again. Oh, the loadout stuff. Yeah. Sorry, it wasn't the answer you're hoping for. Will passive point bonuses come to all paladin or passive trees for 1.0? Will passive point bonuses? Oh, the lock node, the threshold nodes. There probably aren't even here, actually, are there? I don't see any threshold nodes. I don't. It takes a fair bit to like really drill down into a passive tree and figure out where the changes to that are coming and where like really good places to put things are. And it's not something that's done lightly. I don't know if we have enough design time to implement those types of nodes. The threshold nodes, so it's like a node where it gives you like 1 strength per point, but at 5 points it also gives you 10% movement speed or something like that. I don't know if we're gonna get those in for every class by. Does that not work right now? Problem solved. Is Hide Helm going to be a thing? I don't see why not. Wow, Mike died in the tutorial area is so good. I don't see why not, but it's not on the list, so I can't say it will be. If a build proves to be Giga OP, like current Ball Lightning and D4, will you nerf it mid-cycle or leave it to run for the cycle? It depends.
Let me watch you fight.
If there's a build that's like really warping everything, here, let's just really quickly get a belt. Better than nothing. If there's a build that's like you go look at the ladder and it is the first 100 entries are that build and nothing else, you know, it puts us in a really, really tricky spot and really unfortunate spot, and we'd have to address that situation exactly like however that situation is. So having a meta that is so... Come on, what's going on? Having a meta that's so like homogenized is bad for the game. Having a leaderboard, like a ladder, where it's impossible for anyone to improve upon the top slot to take #1 position is also really bad. So being in a situation where like, so if we do nothing, you're left in a situation where the only way to beat the top spot is to play the build. If we nerf the build like crazy, or even just moderately, whoever's sitting on top is never gonna leave for the rest of the cycle. They're just stuck there. Now it's really tricky because suddenly you're like, okay, because if we change it, we're like, okay, great, you can play any build you want, but you can't ever get on the ladder. So do you want to play any build you can't? You know, it's like it's a really difficult debate that we'd have internally for that specific situation. The other option there is you buff other things around it to give them a chance, and then when the reset comes along, you then have to nerf a whole bunch of things, and it's like, at the start of the season all you do is nerf, and then mid-season all you do is buff, and it's like, okay, we'll just wait till the mid-season buffs to play the build you want, is sort of the reputation that happens, and we definitely don't want that. Is there a single catch-all way to do this? No, not even close. If there was, we wouldn't be having this conversation, you know? And give me a helmet. Oh, wrong one. And so because we have to weigh all these things, you know, it's hard to give a clear answer for that. There's another option too, and that's you nerf the build and you adjust the rankings of people who got with that build, like to match the new version of it. So you're like, okay, we nerf this build like 10%, let's say, we nerf all the ranks 10%, and that doesn't work out. Like that's basic math for the not explaining it properly, but like you can then adjust them, put like a little asterisk beside the number, and be like, well, they actually got this number, but this is like the estimated number it would be with the fixed bug or something like that. And I think it also is important if the reason that the build is super powerful is a bug or a mistake we made based on balance. Like if we're just like, oh, we put that node and that skill and said plus 1,000 more damage. We didn't think that would be bad. And so someone's gonna find a node that does that. Whoops. And so yeah, there's a lot that goes into that conversation. And the short answer is, it depends. Alright. Are you a void version? Or, like, why is that node in the bottom of Sentinel? That's insane. We can start with strength and res. It's the easy stuff. Universal. Are there plans to add some sort of visual indication, like highlighted outline of a boss when it is within kill threshold only for bosses? We actually talked about this really recently, and the kill threshold range is different for different skills. So you can have 5 different skills in your bar with 5 different kill thresholds. You may not actually be able to make that happen, but you know, like there's a lot of different ways that you can have different kill thresholds. Oh, that's what's going on. My headset's just turned up. Like it's so loud, I feel like I'm shouting over myself. Sorry about that. Void. We're running out of mana. Let's do channel costs. And what am I getting at? Oh yeah, kill thresholds on bosses. You've got. So I think there's a really good. I'd like to see the. If you're gonna say, hey Mike, make a system to fix this problem I'm having of not knowing when kill thresholds are for bosses. The system I would suggest for that is, bring me your problems, not your solutions. Just kidding. It would be to have a setting in here that says like kill threshold marker or something like that, and you'd be able to pick a percentage that the kill threshold marker would sit at. You'd be like 18%, because I know my kill threshold's 18%. That's the number you want to see, and it would just put like a little tick there, like a little marker, so you could see what it is. Maybe it turns color when that happens, or it glows, or something lights up, or I don't know, something when it hits that threshold. But it's like a fixed number that you pick in your UI, or it's just a universal like line we put there for everyone. And it's like, okay, well, this is the 15% mark, so like we know most kill thresholds are 15%, and so we just put that in, or something like that. You know, like there's I think there's a lot of different ways we can do it.
I must head there now. Feel free to look around.
Yeah. What is your favorite currently released class and why? I love marksman. It's my favorite. I'm just always partial to that type of character. I also realized this is something I realized yesterday, the day before, very recently. I was playing around with Falconer because I've been working on skills for Falconer right now. Almost said the name of the skill. Caught myself. And I realized that I looked at my bar, looked how I was playing. I'm like, oh my god, I've literally just made my most recent D&D character exactly the same. Like all of my abilities, everything I do, like it's all just exactly the same as my last D&D character, completely by mistake. Like the abilities I was using, the things I was using, the everything was just the same. I'm like, I have a problem. Oh, we can make a Hammerden, actually. That would be fun. Should we make a Hammerden? Do that. Spinduin's just so easy to talk and do. Game volume's quiet? Really? Oh my god, Sriracha's back in stock. Oh my god, stop the presses. Oh my god, Sriracha's back in stock. Sorry, I just had to yell at my wife that Sriracha's back in stock. Okay, I'm excited. Game's quiet? Okay, bumped it up. Cool. Oh my god, Sriracha's back in stock! Okay. That's so awesome. I'm so excited now. Will there be new or additional monolith quests in the future? Yes. Is there plans to do 1.0? No, just to be clear. Is there plans to do group finder or something to help those that want to play with a group but don't have any active friends? Absolutely. When is this coming? I don't know. I'm sorry, but yes, this is actually some of the big one of the biggest pieces of feedback we got from like from the last 6 months of collecting feedback about the game is that people want to be able to play with other people, but towns are supposed to be a big part of that, but it's not like they've been on, they've been off, and it doesn't quite do what. Like we knew they weren't going to be the catch-all solution for that. We knew that it wasn't like a here, let's see if this does it. And that wasn't it. But it's just like we want to bring the community together to play together better. And Towns was the first little step in that direction. And we have gotten a lot of feedback that we need a way for people who want to play together but can't to do that. I still love the D2 way of doing this. It doesn't really work great for us, unfortunately. So, and we have, it's funny, we have mock-ups, like UI mock-ups done. Well, we made UI mock-ups for basically recreating the D2 lobby system. It was different. There was other features, and there's shifts and changes, but it was functionally largely very similar. It was abandoned, and we are looking at something else for this feature. Have you ever considered, probably, an armor and weapon die system for Guild Wars 1? I loved the Guild Wars 1 weapon and armor die system. Yes, we have considered it heavily. It's not ready. Since exalted items is purple and experimental gear is yellow / it's a different purple, but bluey purple. Is there a chance to use experimental gear to upgrade unique into legendary? No, it has to be an exalted item. I know it says exalted, but maybe in future. I mean, never say never, but no. Sorry. A few D7 affixes, mostly chance to apply ailments with low caps. What's going on here? Have with very low hard caps for usefulness. Will we eventually see uniques or skills that can capitalize on these? Imagine it would be similar to the recent wave of uniques and skills that utilize uncapped resistances. The more niche the stat is, the less likely it is to happen. But I do know that we have added more uncapped relative stat systems like that for 1.0. D2 lobby system is the best hope finding something close to this. I mean, there's I think there's a lot of things in the big problem with the D2 lobby system for what we have, the way that our multiplayer setup and the way the game works right now, is that you don't I don't know how to say it. It's like you have to get like all the way into game first and then start interacting with it. So like it's going to be a window in game. Might be maybe an automated system that's just like here's the type of thing I want to do, here's the level that I want to play at. Find me people. You know, there's a ton of stuff that goes into automated matchmaking systems. I actually watched a great video on it just last week. It's really interesting. We need to get our damage up. I should probably be looking for a weapon. I've just been like ignoring everything. We're still using the starting weapon. Maybe just that hatchet's volume upgrade, isn't it? We have been to the town where the stash was. Okay, next waypoint I see, I am realizing that I have lunge to use, and I'm just not for some reason. Are there plans to add more beneficial player modifiers for Monolith? Beneficial player modifiers, so like the rewards, like, oh, you get a bunch of crafting materials, or you get a bunch of gold, things like that. Yes, there aren't any planned for. Oh my god, it's backwards. We're good now. Only when running it's backwards. It's funny. There aren't any planned for 1.0, but it is something that we would like to add more of. More questions. SteamDB shows the price of the game is almost double in Brazil, but the price in the US stays the same. Why is that? The game uses Steam's automatic pricing system, so it should be the same relative price everywhere, as far as I know. There may have been maybe a significant change in value of currency, and Steam's automatic regional price system hasn't caught up. Would be my guess. I know there's a couple countries we've intentionally lowered the price on to not use that, because there were problems. I think Turkey was one of them. Yeah, I wanted to go back to town anyways. Oh, come on, take me back. Oh, I guess it doesn't go all the way back. Oh my goodness, Mike. Okay. You know what we're gonna do? What I should have done initially. It's like 10x damage right there. Get 4x damage still. Can you trigger it from? Oh, you can trigger it from back here. It's funny. All right. Oh, let's get some gloves and a shield. Just something. We go back to town. We're gonna grab something to use here. Oh yeah, let's go. There we go. Gotta have bees, right? Oh, a slab. Yeah, here we go. What else could I use? Not much is usable here. Probably be a lot easier. Oh, we can go spoon. This is why you should organize your stashes instead of this jumbled mess of garbage. Hey, some rings. I don't know what they do. Didn't even look at them. But they're rings. Oh, here we go. Yeah. That's the piece we needed to find right there. There's an exalted axe. I'm like, oh, it's usable? No, Mike. There's no exalted axe that's usable at this level. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's just go hammer. It's 1 LP. It's junky, but it'll do. Anything else? Bueller. Bueller. Alright, let's go. Let's have some fun. Why is the axe in hand switching around? Animation bug. The bone to hold that weapon is rotating along the z-axis by 180 degrees compared to when it's in running compared to idle. Is there a... Yeah, there's something there. Oh, maybe not. It makes sense it's a bit quiet in here now. Probably time for some leaks, wink wink. Oh yeah, okay, good idea. Sure thing. Also, because I'm terrible and just died again. Here is a new creepy boy. This is concept art for an enemy that is coming to the game. A new enemy. What is the design decision with gifting items but only being able to do so when the item was looted while within a party? Any plans to add shared stashes or something like that? So it's essentially we don't want to create an open free trade market. That's something we don't want to do. Something we do want to do is allow people that play very frequently with one or two people, or like just a tight knit group of people, like maybe 3, 4, 5 people, whatever. But just like people who frequently play with the same people, being able to help them out and to share your stuff with them as you're playing is something we do want to have. So how do we create a system where you can share items with your friends but can't implement free trade? Well, the item has to drop while you're playing together. Then if you do check out the Trade Factions devlog that came out 8 months ago now, and in the bottom of that, there's a section that talks about resonances. A resonance is an item. Someone just posted it. Thanks, Kane. A resonance is an item that lets you add someone to the list of tradable or giftable people that an item has. So when an item drops, it says like here are the people that it's giftable to. A resonance, you can apply resonance to an item to say here also add this person to the giftable list, and then you can gift it to that person. Now that resonance item will only drop after you've played a significant amount of time with a specific person. So like if you and I play together for a long time, we'd each likely, and they're not perfectly hard timed. There's some slight randomization in that, so we'd each get a resonance for the other person very close together, but not at the exact same time necessarily. And so that resonance is specifically linked to the other person. So I would be like, I'd get a resonance for you, you'd get a resonance for me, and we could each give each other one item if we wanted. Now, just the follow-up question that always comes after I explain this is, cool, can I, as a Circle of Fortune player, give an item to my Merchant Skill friend, or as a Merchant Skill player, can I give an item to my Circle of Fortune friend? Yes, however, gifting an item does not change the item at all. So if an item has a Merchant Skill requirement to use it, and you gift it to someone, that person needs to be currently representing Merchant Skill at a high enough rank in order to use it still. It does not remove that requirement. The requirement does not prevent gifting, but it also isn't removed upon gifting. I hope that's clear. That's the super duper short version of it. Yay, animation bugs. It thinks I'm still holding right click, but I'm not. Let's say you find 5 of the unique items you're looking for, but 0 LP. Okay, so this is the. I don't know if you're here for the start. I'll read the full questions in a second, but this question is another possible solution to the problem presented earlier about not picking up all unique items. And I just want to be clear. Preface this by saying we can't put Weaver's Well on unique items that are not designed specifically to have Weaver's Well on them. Right out of the gate. So this says, let's say you find 5 of the unique item you are looking for, but 0 LP on them. How about selling 5 of the exact same item to a vendor to get 1 back, but with Weaver's Will on it? Sorry, no, can't do it. Alright, will there be cosmetics and skins for Druid forms? Yes, we do plan to add strictly visual only cosmetic NTX for skills. You can see that in your down here, skill cosmetics. There are no skill cosmetics available yet. Check back. So we do plan to have skill cosmetics for every skill eventually. Certain skills take a lot more to make a skill cosmetic for them. So Fireball, for example, is really easy to make a skill cosmetic for it to make it cold looking, for example. Like there's some stuff that goes into that, but like that's pretty low bar on difficulty scale. And oh my god, I'm still playing with this giant thing on my face like an idiot. I'm sorry. Oh, Mike. Overlay. He'll catch it, don't worry. Yep. Sorry, guys. I do this like every stream. What was I talking about? I need like something to tell me. I don't know how to do this, but yeah, I'll figure it out eventually. Where was I? I was talking about stuff. I was doing things. I definitely want that. What are damage from nearby enemies right now? Sweet. Get back to the question I was answering. Druid forms. Oh yeah. So skill cosmetics, druids. Like we're gonna do the skill cosmetics for everything. Fireball's easy. A reskin of the entire druid form is a little more in depth. There's a lot more that goes into that because it's not just the druid form. It's also the druid form maul and druid form swipe and druid form charge, and like all those things need to have adjustments to them, right? So it's like it's a lot that goes into one skill MTX for druid form or any of the forms compared to fireball, for example, or lightning blast, or like there's a lot easier ones to do. So I'd say like yes, but I don't have any info on timelines. Hauberk. Let's make it not terrible. Hey, it's still terrible. Somehow even worse.
This way. You're here to protect the drink. Tread carefully.
Oh god, they're coming. They've breached the walls. It's up to us now. Trying to think of how the song Be Prepared starts. You guys can do it. Any news at all on any console ports yet? Yes, the news is the same as it's been forever. We do plan to add console ports eventually. It is absolutely not going to appear at 1.0. Once 1.0 launches, we will start to discuss which consoles we'd like to look at adding the game to, and we'll decide when we want to scope that in for in a future patch. No work has been done on it. It is something we want to do. It is not something we have done. Right now. Cold damage, once again, somehow even worse. Yeah, console ports are interesting. It's like the game is built in Unity, and we do have controller support. So those are two big hurdles for console ports. Like we have a method for creating console builds. We have a method for most consoles to interact with the system. Like the big stuff is at least on the way. But like we don't have it. I have no idea what goes into making a console game. We don't have like, do you get dev kits still? Is that still a thing? Do you have to like, start a relationship with Microsoft or Sony and like get permission to start creating for their systems? I don't know. I don't know how these things work. Only ever done PC games. And I know we have people on the team who have done console games, so it's there are people on the team that know what they're talking about with this sort of thing, but I guess I'm just trying to illustrate that we haven't started it yet. More questions. Hit me with your questions. Alright. Will there be cosmetics that are earnable in-game, for example, by completing challenges or being top of the leaderboard? We do plan to have things like that. There are... trying to remember if something got approved or cut. There is. I'm just saying maybe. I don't know if it is or not. If it got cut or not. There's a feature that we were working on that may or may not have been cut, but I can't remember if it has or not. That would allow you to earn 2 different cosmetics, I think, without you spending any money yourself. And they're not like. They're not like achievement based type things, unfortunately, yet. But it is the style of thing that we're looking at doing. I know I've talked about this on previous streams, so I'll go light into it, so people who've heard me rant about this a few times don't have to listen to it again. But I'd personally really like to see a system where you could, or be like a compound earning system for unlocking earned cosmetics, and maybe that's just as simple as you get 50 cosmetic points if you come within the top 100 of the ladder or something like that, or if there's ladder specific unique or cosmetics that you just can't buy, and maybe there's different points. Maybe there's like maybe there's like heraldry points, or I don't know, champions points. I don't know what they're called, but some other point that when you place rank on the ladder, you get some of these points. And if you rank first, you get 1,000 of them. And if you rank second, you get 200 of them. And if you rank third, you get 50 of them. And if you rank 4th through 10th, you get 10 of them. I don't know. Something like that. And you could
have questions, but let me first check and make sure the Epoch's safe.
maybe buy. You could take those points and compound them. Maybe you've competed in 4 ladders in a row, but you didn't do very well. But you did some, and you got you ranked on all of them, and collectively you were able to buy this like sweet hat because you ranked well on 3 of them in a row or something. I don't know. I'd really like to see something like that. It's a little bit heftier of a system. So I know we haven't planned for anything like that. I don't think we'll see anything like that anytime soon, but I'd really like to see something like that. That'd be my pie in the sky idea. Definitely won't be anything like that for 1.0. Sorry. There's real basic way that may or may not have been cut to earn a couple of things. Sorry. I know it's super vague. I just don't always know what I'm allowed to say or not. Where are we going? Who are we talking to? You got friends? Friends?
Everything okay?
I was raised by the military. I don't have any friends.
What? That must be.
War is all I've known.
Safe. Stay alive.
I always
and
do.
Bring Balthus back.
He can rot in heaven. Let's go get Balthus. Sorry if this has been asked a ton already. Oh, what am I clicking on? How long will this cycle be after 1.0? 13 weeks like PoE question mark? We don't have a hard set timeline for specific cycle durations yet. It's really convenient to be able to have a consistent relative starting time to PoE leagues. And PoE is generally pretty consistent with their league start times, so it's generally pretty easy to do that. We don't want to tie ourselves too strictly to PoE league starts. We don't want to say, okay, well, there's a PoE league every 13 weeks, so every 13 weeks offset by 6 weeks, we're gonna start one of our own cycles. We don't want to do that strictly. I think that the timing they have on theirs is generally pretty good, and they've probably spent a lot of time and money figuring out why that number is pretty good. They also have so much more experience and backlog of awesomeness features that they've just got in the bank ready to go that allows them to make really awesome cycle or leagues really quickly. And we've been trying to match, that's a wrong word, but emulate that style quite a bit with our patching system for the last few years. So we've been practicing a similar type of cyclical patching, and So I think the plan is to be roughly, generally, kind of similar to their timings, but maybe not quite as precise, at least initially. We need to have the capability to say, hey, this patch isn't ready, let's push it a week. Hey, this patch is gonna be done early. Well, no, that won't happen. But you know what I mean. Like we need to have that capability, and if we tie ourselves too strictly to what PoE does, that's not good for us, basically. Yeah. Or here's the flip side. They've delayed, but we're ready to go. Do we also delay? Type thing. Probably not. Hopefully not. Depends though. We really don't want to be that like strict on the relative release, but we also do know that releasing both our cycle and their league on the same weekend is a terrible idea. Just bad. For everyone involved. It's a terrible idea for everyone. It's a terrible idea for us. It's a bad idea for PoE. It's not terrible. They don't really care probably that much, but it's bad for them too. And we don't want to, we don't want to burn any bridges over there and be like, we're coming. Nah, it's just a dumb idea. It's bad for all of the people who want to play both, which is the most important thing. So yeah. I'm trying to think of a way to sum that up, but I don't have a good line for it. Like, mindful of PoE's launch timings, but not beholden to them. Can we get a Yogi Bear MTX for Werewolf Druids? Oh my god, I would love that. I would love that. I seriously doubt it. But like, I mean, if we got a bear that was brainier than the mode bear, sure. I think median's a better word to use than mode. We've got stuff. Lunge. Here's where we're going. There we go. What is that? Yeah. Will there ever be an alternative to campaign leveling, like early mode, with some style of Rift map or anything else? Short answer: see the 20-minute mark of this video for a detailed answer. We have none. Short answer, or short answer. We have none. Or longer answer. See the 20-minute mark of this video. Sorry. Short answer is we have none planned at the moment. There already are some in game. In a roundabout way. Kinda. Oh wait, I'm using bees, aren't I? Just pick up that bee item. Yeah, minion damage. Here we go. Oh, it's too much. It's okay. Gotta make our bees the best we can, right? It's the logical thing to do. Right? Hey Mike! I never played a lot of MOBAs. Heroes of New Earth is one of them. Oh, I played a lot of MOBAs, yes. Han was good. I played a tiny bit of Han at a LAN party once. A lot of fun. Got into LoL right after. Those heroes tend to have amazing cool skills. Is there something cool to get? Steal ideas of? Or make something similar? I don't really understand the question. Are you asking, like, do we look at MOBAs for inspiration for our own skills? Is that what you're asking? Cool. We don't go specifically into other games and say, hey, what things can we take from this? You know? Having said that, tons of people on our team have played a lot of MOBAs. A lot. like a lot. And usually it's Dota, Dota 2, and LoL are the big ones that people on our team have played. Like, if you've ever played Dota 2, we just released the Rune Master, which is definitely nothing like the Invoker from Dota 2. And like, Dancing Strikes is nothing like Ribbon's Q from LoL, and like, you know, this is nothing like Garen's Warpath in LoL. I don't know what it's called in LoL. It's Warpath for us. But like, you know, there's a lot of similarities. Like the Umbral Blades is definitely nothing like. Oh, it was launched after I stopped playing LoL. The bird ADC person. It wasn't actually a bird, but it was like a bird person, like a bird themed person ADC. It's definitely nothing like that. You know, like there's a lot of things, and funny enough, most of the time it's a mistake. So like the person who pitched the Rune Master, the primary core system for Rune Master, had never actually played Invoker in Dota 2. You know, it's so similar, and they finished pitching it, and everyone's just like, "That's Invoker." Or like, "Ah, but it's great, so let's roll with it." Point, and it's a little bit different, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Point is, we kinda, I guess it's the short answer. We don't like to say, we don't like to look at other games specifically for ideas. We don't like to say like, okay, what can we pull from this game type thing. But just naturally, as if you've ever worked on a creative project in any medium really, the things that you naturally start to add to it are things that you're familiar with, or it's influenced by the things you've experienced and enjoyed in your past of similar entertainments. You know, like maybe it's a book you read and you're making a movie. It has influence there, and a lot of times it's subconscious, and we try not to take too much into consideration of those games. Once we have an idea where we're like, hey, this is how we want this to go, this is a great idea, sometimes we'll start to look for other games to see what problems they faced with similar skills. So we can say like, okay, well, like, does this exist anywhere else? Like, we've got this idea for a skill, but it's a lot of work to implement. Are there any other games that have similar abilities that we can like see how it feels in that game to see if it's like any fun at all? Is this something we even want to do? Sometimes maybe we're running into a problem with how something functions, and we don't quite know how to solve it, but there's like other games that have similar abilities that have a little bit different properties. Maybe we look at those to say like, how did they solve this problem? And I don't think we've ever had a one-to-one just like, oh, they solved it this way, all right, we'll do it the same way. It's because the genres are different as well, especially with MOBAs. The genres are different. It is there's almost never an exact same solution, but you can kind of you can look at the you can guess the reasons why they did things.
Was impressive, but it's mine.
Which can help. But really, we try just to make our own game, you know? But why wouldn't you if they're really cool and give it your own twist? Because in high school I learned that you can't just take your friend's paper and change a few words.
The epoch is ours! Raya, aid me! Yeah.
It's a little scary. Next turn. Oh, I bet this is the scene transition people were talking about accidentally clicking. I was wondering, like, so there was a question earlier about a boss fight and accidentally clicking a scene transition in a boss fight, and I'm like, in my head when that question came up, I'm like, that doesn't exist. There's no boss fights where the scene transition is still there while you're fighting the boss. But there clearly are. That one just was right there. There was.
Now get me out of here. Oh,
There's probably other ones too.
Which, speaking of, let's head back to camp. I must reach Lena at once.
Thanks, Mike. I just hope you'll still be inspired by cool other things. Hint, hint. Yeah, we get inspired by all sorts of stuff.
Eterra's blessing. Prayers be with you.
And like, that's not to say that like it never happens. I'm sure this happens in, like, we've seen this happen where we've looked at other games that have come out with things and we're like, before we've even come out with them, like we've got it internally developed, we haven't told anyone about this, and we see another game launch a feature and we're like, oh my god, we're literally about to launch the exact same thing. And then we had to have a conversation like, what do we do? Because we're second to the party at that point. They've just launched it. Do we just roll with it the way it is? What do we do? That's happened a couple times. There's been a few other times where we've, like, just years later seen things where, like, that's the exact same as this skill. That is the exact same. And we're like, there's no way they copied us or whatever. Like, that's never come to mind. But, like, it's a little tough sometimes. We're like, do we... As the smaller game in a lot of these situations, do we pivot to not be looking like we're copying them type thing?
Lena, I'm sorry to you too. This is what's best for us all.
That actually happened with that happened with something recently. Huh? Where'd he go? Can you explain how the minimum required level of an item is influenced by the tier of said item? I want to have some low level items for starting a character, and I don't want them to have too high a level. My advice: make legendaries off of low level uniques. The level of a legendary item is exclusively determined by the level of the unique that it is based on. So these Keeper's Gloves, no matter what affix I put on them, will always be 0 level required to equip. This hammer, no matter what affix I put on it, will always be 0 level required to equip. My advice is, if you're at the point where you're like, I'm creating leveling twink items, is find a... The most important thing is your weapon for a melee. Like, 4 LP hammer Laurent is not unheard of. There's... Even a 2 or 3 LP one is fantastic for leveling with. And there's tons of other items you can do this with too. And the level is still 0, good to go. As far as how it actually, how the item level is calculated, there's 2 things that can affect a rare magic exalted item level. That is the level required for the base type. So every base type has a level requirement. An infantry hauberk, I believe, is 0. It might be 5. I don't know where that level's coming from actually. We can look, possibly 1, 1, 1, 2. Yes, so that level is coming from the base item only. Because I'm pretty sure at level 1 you can get a 2 1-on-1 item. I think that's level 1. I'm sorry, I don't know the formula off the top of my head, but it is a function of the affix tiers. Tier 1 affix tiers, I think, adds 0 to the level requirement. Tier 2 affix tiers add a certain amount to the level requirement, and it's like... Oh, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, I'm sorry. It's changed a few times as well. I bet there's like, there's some people in the community that'll just know the answer to this, like... They'll just be like, oh, it's this. Mike should know. I should know. Or if you ask me next week sometime during the day on Discord, I'll be able to look it up for you. Going this way. And we're going this way? Yeah, we gotta have this. 'Cause I love the... Get that. Movement speed CDR. Or I cards. Actually, what it is, not CDR technically. Whatever. That must be the most awful feeling when you discover that. Yeah, it's only ever happened once where it felt bad. Where we like actively considered not releasing something. But we've always released it. We're sort of like, if it comes down to it, it's a problem. We're like, we've got design documents dating back years that have this in it. Like, we're fine. if it's really a problem at some point, you know, like. It's kind of odd having the pause after he vanishes. Yeah. The reason why the loading screen doesn't show up right away when a scene transition starts, for quite a while we had a bug, and it might still be there actually. There was where you could start a scene if a scene transition failed. You could end up in a situation where you just get stuck in the scene transition. But if we don't load the scene transition screen right away and start the scene transition without loading that, whoa, excuse me, and we don't load that, we can get you out of that dead state or like soft lock state a lot easier and keep you playing without having to relog. And the actual time the transition takes is identical. So it had no real impact on how long it takes the scene transition. And we could keep people from not being able to play more. Wow, Twitch does not like the term twinking. It's a video game term in this context. Oh, just a sec, sorry.
Eterra, watch over you. Gods.
Got to town, made it to town. Not quite.
Yes?
I forgot. Yo, what's up, chat? Lord Dev. Lord Dev, I love that. My name is Wilhelm von Lord Dev III. Second of his name. Yeah, that's right. The third is part of the name, and a second of my name of the third as being part of the name. That's right, you heard me.
Farewell.
What do you call two royal brothers? Twin King. Nice. Alright, what's the design approach behind runes of shattering? Why not make it impossible to shatter items using just gold? Why not make it possible to shatter items using just gold? I always find myself having an overflow of stash, but not enough runes to shatter all of the items. Might be just a me issue though. Yeah, it's actually really interesting. You've identified the reason in your question, actually. We kind of don't want to incentivize people spending too much time picking up items. So we want to incentivize people to pick up items, but we don't really want there to be I don't know how you say it, like a situation where you're picking up so many items that you're constantly going back to town and breaking that flow. We want you to have this sort of um, like reasonable time spent adventuring. You get back to town. Like we're talking campaign time here right now mostly, but just as an example, like you go through sections like between towns and campaigns naturally, and your inventory fills up 3/4, let's say, in that time between towns, but you don't have to like stop and go back to town and break up that questing and adventuring just to drop off gear that you've picked up. So we try pretty hard to, I guess have subtle reasons to either incentivize you to pick things up, but not pick up too many things at the same time. And if there was a completely unlimited, air quotes unlimited because you have limited amount of gold, but if there was let's just say there was an unlimited supply of shattering stones in the shop, like there was you bought a shattering stone from the shop and it repopulated instantly. You just keep buying them, just for simplicity's sake, and you're probably going to be picking up way more stuff off the ground all of a sudden, because your bar for how good does this item need to be to pick up goes down. And if it goes down, if that bar goes down too low, you're picking up too many things, and you're burning time doing, like important parts of the game, but things that aren't great to interrupt the primary gameplay activity with, just for the sake of interrupting it. Like, yeah. Having said that, I'm pretty sure we like doubled the number of shattering runes that get populated into shops right now. I don't know exactly what happened with them, but last time I looked, they were way higher on the test builds. And maybe that I shouldn't have said that, because maybe they're just high on the test builds for test builds, but I think they're going up. You care for Grail? It's alright. It's pretty cool. Oh, we're at time. I'll get to town. So we're right there. Hello. Do you have any plans to improve the interaction of left click to attack? Yeah, I think there's some bugs, because I've been seeing people giving some feedback on it, and I'm like, that's not how it's set up to work. So there's something that's not working in the system, I think, right now. The way it's supposed to, at least. So we have plans to fix the bugs, at least. Yeah, if anyone, we're just about done here. I'm just gonna kill this very slowly and get to town, and then we'll be packing up for the day. But if anyone does have any suggestions or things they really want to see in the game, or just questions on things that maybe I didn't. That text is tiny. Maybe things that I didn't answer fully or just missed. We do have our Discord, fantastic resource. There's lots of people in there about talking all sorts of topics. And we do have an Ask the Devs channel in there, so if you have a question, feel free to ask us there. If you have a suggestion or or feedback, please use the appropriate suggestion and feedback channels. We also have suggestion and feedback threads on our forums that are a perfect place for that too. Yeah, that's just about it. And thanks for stopping by. I had a ton of fun. Oh, it's this. I have a line, don't I? What is it? Thanks for coming by. I hope you had fun. I know I did. There we go. That's how we do it. I'll see you next time. We'll be here same time, same place next week. Have some more fun. Hang out, relax, answer some more questions. I botched this part last week. Make sure this person's actually live, because last time that looks like fun. They look like they're having fun. Let's go for it. Yeah. So that's about all I had to announce for today. Good stuff. It's a good stream.